Well, obviously the one that comes most easily to my mind would be Richard Lemieux, who would be totally out of character as far as the standard expectation of what a homeless person is, because he was wealthy, lost everything, and had to live in his car, was not a drug addict or an alcoholic, was not mentally ill, although the homelessness did create some of that, at least depression. It was certainly not the typical homeless person. Having said that, what is a typical homeless person? Well, you could say that they're a drug addict or an alcoholic. That is true for percentage. But there's also a lot of mentally ill. It's statistically verified that I think about 40% of the homeless have some form of mental illness. But there are a lot of homeless who are homeless because of some trauma, some crisis in their lives, some catastrophic illness, some divorce, couldn't make adjustment to say the way society was going. For instance, Richard Lemieux became homeless because he couldn't make the adjustment when society was going to the digital age and to computers. He couldn't move his directory business into that mode, and so just the change of the job situation, the way society functions, he couldn't adjust to. Many reasons. As for specific instances or specific examples, gosh, they all kind of merge together. There's so many.
Right.
And family, and all of us wasn't the richest kids in the neighborhood, but we grew up and graduated and learned how to be respectful. And monitoring and studying life of people since I was 7 years old. I became a Cub Scout to be like my dad because I wanted to be and was gang related at 7 years old. I didn't want to be no gang member, but I learned how to grow up to be respectful, honest, not steal and work and earn your way in life, and not knowing that we will support, because all the community and family, we come together and we structured our community. Of all the bad, we try to find a solution. Where there's a problem, you sit down and find a solution. Where there's hunger, we sit down and we help feed. You always come together as a community. It takes a community to raise children, and you have to teach them how to love. So all the homelessness that I've witnessed through my 57 years, I'm 57 years old. It's tough because I come from the school of hard knocks and soft knocks. And that's not saying that I'm a tough guy and I'm better than nobody, but I learned from the best and the worst. And at home it starts. We're born good, and being homeless and hungry and suffering. A lot of people didn't know that they was going to go through a lot of things, so I didn't. So I'm going to say me, that I, like so many, we're only human and make mistakes. So, but to be hungry and homeless and on drugs and alcohol, it's a harder struggle because so many people can judge you and a book by its cover, or judge someone and they don't know what they went through if you're not raised up and born with them, or you didn't see what they went through, whether it's a job or whether it's an accident, whether it's intention. I want to learn, just like I believe every individual should learn for themselves as an individual, who God and Jesus is, who you are, and how to respect others and love others and grow together as flowers. We're all stars here on earth from heaven, and we're the light that we live together and grow together as flowers.
I always tell students, I speak at a lot of high schools, universities, and I always tell students the same thing, is that they are my most important audience, because you are the guys who are going to change the world. And that isn't a challenge, that's a positive statement that I know you're going to, because my generation put in place a lot of old stereotypes that are still there, that homeless people are just drunks and alcoholics. They're worthless. They don't want to work. They don't want to help themselves. And those stereotypes are still with us. When I was a young man and going to Ohio State University, I remember distinctly I wasn't a person that would challenge statements. But in today's society, if I hear someone say, homeless people are all lazy, worthless, can't be helped, I will stand up and say, that is not the truth. So I hope that answers a little bit of where I'm coming from today. Well, I was homeless for 2 years living in my van, and then I lived in the basement of a Methodist church for 9 months when they let me stay there. I lived with my little dog Willow, who is on the front cover of this book, Breakfast at Sally's. And I learned a lot about homeless people because I was one. I learned that there's no difference between a homeless person and a person that has a home, except the fact that that homeless person doesn't have a place to lay their head at night, a place to wash their clothes, a place to get cleaned up, take a shower, a place to go to work, a place to do the necessities of the day, to organize themselves, and have if you want to call it a successful life, whatever that is for somebody. Yes, and the stress of living on the street puts people in harm's way, whether it's a young teenage girl, which are teenagers are the fastest growing population of homeless people in the United States, or a 80-year-old grandmother, and there are plenty of those now who have lost their homes because their houses are underwater, or it's a whole family who lost their job. The husband lost the job, the stress of life was too much, and they couldn't pay their bills, and eventually, if you will, fractured, failed, and now they're living they live maybe with their sister or their cousin for a while, or their mother. Something happened there, and now they're living in their car, and they're coming to places like the Salvation Army or the local mission or the local church, just trying to survive each day, to get out of the cold, or as you can tell by looking at my shirt today, this is summer, so to get out of the heat, have food, get cleaned up, and they're also looking for hope. So to answer your questions, everyone can become homeless.